much further back in time than even time can bear to know. A planet in the distances of space was known as home to a manifold of beings, all intelligent in form, whose entire living planet would communicate as one. The beings were of 8 divides, no better in each way, but each would do its part to guide their planet into space, as fire beings baked the earthly people into clay. People made of time and space would form them day by day. Water brought the planet peace, a fluid, easy kind. Air would filter through the cracks and whistle over time. And beings of pure light would then illuminate the earth. And beings of pure holy sound would herald in the universe. Their planet hung in space between the 9th and 7th verse, between the realms of action and perception in the linear. These beings lived in peace without a coil, corpse, or form, but lived to till the progress of the earthly-bodied ones. In turn, the earthly bodies would give reverence and song, and use their earthly bodies to give elements a home. So beings of pure light would inside them make them strong, or time would feed upon them and turn warm hearts stone. Do you remember in the time before we died, when you and I made love beside a nebula of light, and slipped into the distance to be married off as lovers with no name, of burning ice and liquid flame? Do you recall there was a place where we once met, that's long destroyed and hasn't been discovered yet, but someday soon we'll be returning to the planet with no name, where someone said we all once came from? Do you recall there was a place where we were made, where love was given form and all our promises had names? You looked in the black holes of my eyes and promised you would write the book of love with me. Do you remember when our fire was given flesh and molded into form so that we never could forget? Before we crashed the world into the sun, we were living with a brother in a strange dimension. The planet and its people were in blissful harmony, the universe responding to their wicked energy, and pushing them to rolling through the great black sky with a manifest of energy that grew but did not die, but orbiting the galaxy an ancient evil sword, 60 million eons since its ugly death had roared, a star in the sky to the beings of the world that grew with a volition that they couldn't deny. The home planet that they knew and loved was soon to be destroyed by another from above, and so the manifold beings, all connected as one, built a great crystal ship to get everybody off. The ship consumed the earth 1,000 miles high, a giant formed of stone filled with these elemental kind. But as they all prepared to drive the planet into space, the scientist came in with a sad look upon his face, and he said, "You can travel through space, you can travel through time, you can travel through the river and the mind's eye. Push on through the beautiful blue, but I don't know what will happen when we slip through the void. We can look through the veil and tune in, put the needle on the wax when time begins, and then swim through the beautiful blue. But there's no way of knowing what will happen when we slip through the void." Slipping through the cracks of light and matter first, they pushed the sonic hyperdrive into the sonic verse. Then 1,000 screams resounded when they hit the starburst. For the people of pure light and sound, they rippled and dispersed. They slipped into the 6th and all the fire lost its form, melting into rivers, burning cracks throughout the stone. The water beams disappeared in rippled clouds of steam. The air was choked into the sky, the earth stood still, then settled into orbit round a warm and distant sun. The planet made a call to the fortunate ones. The elements responded and the mountain howled, but the screams of 2 others seemed to drown them all out. 2 beings, water, fire, and flesh, were stuck outside the dimensional crest, suspended in the bodies living physical lives. They had forgotten all the beings of the 9th dimension, armed with nothing but a memory of time, a thirst for air and war, and a love of earth and fire, the guidance of sound and a light surrounding, but no recognition of the spirits around them. The earth called out to them and begged them to return, but stuck behind the veil all that fire could do was burn. But now every now and then when love was born, they'd whisper in the air and sing to the other one. Do you remember in the time before we died, when you and I made love beside a nebula of light, and sipped into the distance to be married off as lovers with no name, a burning ice and liquid flame? Do you recall we're in the place where we once met? That's long destroyed and hasn't been discovered yet. But someday soon we'll be returning to that planet with no name, where someone said we all once came from. Do you recall we're in the place where we were made, where love was given form and all our promises had names? You looked in the black holes of my eyes and promised you would write the book of love with me. Do you remember when our fire was given flesh and molded into form so that we never could forget? Before we crashed the world into the sun, we were living with a brother in a strange dimension. I remember the earth, I remember the hills, I remember the volcano and the fire tide, wind song and the beautiful blue, but I don't remember nothing. When I look at the void, I remember the sky, I remember the breeze, I recall the tornado and the storms. I Father, Son, and the beautiful blue, but I can't shake this feeling. When I look at the void, someone calling my name, someone pushing me on, standing just behind the mirror on the blind side. Dreams come from the beautiful moon, but I don't know what's the message that slips out from the void. Something may be forgot, something may be destroyed. I remember there were colors in the night sky. This town has a beautiful view, but I can't help but think what would happen when we slip through the void. Naked fire can burn forever, love forever and learn forever. It's always hot and it scars forever, runs in your heart forever. Pure water can flow forever, run forever and know forever. It'll always wave on our souls together, run through our veins forever. This earth will wait forever and silently rotate forever. The winds will always change forever, the breeze will always send us home, but tender flesh will age and wither with sickness till it dies forever. Well, this life is fueled by love, but no one could love life forever. Everything flesh is living, but not everything living is bound in flesh. Every clock is ticking, but not every ticking clock is timeless. Every wave is crashing, but not every crashing wave is wet. Everything has happened, but not everything has happened yet. I remember the space, I remember the time, I remember all the matter and the mind's eye, the sun and the beautiful moon, but I must know what happens when we slip through the void. We can look through the veil and tune in, put the needle on the wax when time begins, and then swim through the beautiful blue, but I don't know what will happen when we slip through the void. We can travel through sound, we can travel through light, we can travel through the river and the fire, then we can swim through the beautiful blue, but I've got to know what happens when we slip through the